Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Aaron Underwood.
Today was a very significant day for these 5 officers. This is a pinning ceremony, and what it means is it tells everyone that they are finished with their training and that they are full-fledged police officers. So today they received their collar brass, the SPDs, which stands of course for Smyrna Police Department, and it goes on their collars. But it's a big day for these 5, and it signifies that their training's over with, they're full-fledged police officers, and they're going to be out there serving the public. They're exemplary people, they're very well-rounded, and they're very educated. And again, I mean, the Smyrna Police Department is very educated. Over 60% of our officers have college degrees. We do in-house training here that'll last approximately 24 weeks, and then they do 12 weeks at the police academy. So they've been working for almost a year while undergoing this training, and their training is finished. They have completed all their training with exemplary marks, and they're ready to go out and serve.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for being here today. This is a very important milestone in these officers' lives right here. Before we get started, we're going to have a word of prayer, and then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody will just join me in prayer. Father in heaven, we'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for all the many blessings that you continue to bestow upon this community. We ask that you watch over the people of this town and keep them safe. Please be with our officers as they perform their duties, and please be with all the town employees and keep all them safe. And we say all these things in the name of our risen Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ladies and gentlemen, our town manager, Mr. Brian Hercules, is going to come up and say a few words to everybody.
Thank you, Chief. I don't normally talk at these, but I'm doing that today so I can take my mask off. No, I'm teasing. Welcome. This is a pretty cool day for the town of Smyrna and 5 young people that are joining the ranks as our police officers. I don't know if you know this or not, but today actually is National First Responders Day. And how apropos that we're here today to pin 5 of the newest employees in our police department on that day. So we welcome you. I want you to look around today. We're surrounded by your peers, some folks that you'll be working with at the police department. They're all, I guess, undercover today. It's all detectives. They're all in suits. But for the folks in the audience, so the ones carrying the guns, okay, they'll have a gun on their side. But I also want to introduce a couple of other folks that are here today. One is in the back, we have Raquel Peebles. Raquel is one of our council members. Raquel is a very good supporter of our police department and the work that our police department does. Raquel, we thank you for taking time to come out today. Also, 2 other gentlemen I'd like to introduce that are kind of special to the town from the standpoint of working with me in the management side of the town. We have both of our assistant town managers, Todd Spearman, who spent 32 years at the police department. He's here with us today. And then also Rex Gaither, who is our director of finance and now one of our assistant town managers. And I want you to know these people are here today because they support you. They support the work you do, not only through the day-to-day operations, but through our budget process and those type things. Also, I know that there's very many, or quite a few, special guests today, even one there in the back that got on the little bitty mask. One of our officers' daughters, I take it, is with us today, which is really fun to have. And the parents and the support from the family, we do appreciate you. You know, our promise to you is these people have been trained. We're going to depend on them to use their training to do a job that's very special to this community. But we want you to also know we have a chief, we have captains, Captain Lear over here, Captain Dwyer, that are going to work with these young folks and bring them around. And what we'd ask you to do is, as you go into this new process, and today as you receive your pins, remember, you're doing a job you're trained to do. Depend on your training. If you're not comfortable, reach out. You've got fellow officers that are there to support you, okay? I tell people at this pinning ceremony, the last couple of times I've had the opportunity to speak, I'm very proud of what you do. I don't understand it. Your DNA is different than mine. I know how to sit behind a computer and build a budget. I know how to manage numbers. Never had the desire to put a gun on and go to work. As I tell the fire chief and our fire people, I've never had the desire to run into a fire. But thank God we have those people because we need you. You're very special, you're very important to us, and I want you to know that we acknowledge that. But I also want you to remember one thing. The most important thing you do on an 8-hour shift, you might want to guess what that is. you're exactly right. Go home. For that little girl back there and for your families. Don't put yourself in a position where you're not going home. And I mean that very seriously. We're here to support you. You've got backup, you've got radios, you've got the tools, you've got the things you need to do your job. But work smart. Depend on your training. Listen to yourself. Let your gut lead you in what you do. That's why you're trained. Continue to work towards additional training with us. Those opportunities will be provided to you. It's a very special job you do, and we realize it. And again, I thank you for being interested in not only being a police officer, I applaud you for that, but I thank you for choosing the town of Smyrna to be the place you want to work. We're very proud of this place. It's a good place to work, okay? That's all I really have today, and I apologize. I've got to go to another meeting, but the chief has got a full agenda here, and I just, again, congratulate each of you on your training, finishing the academy, and becoming police officers with the town of Smyrna. Thank you.
Okay, to family and friends, the reason we have this pinning ceremony, and the reason we started it, is on the very first day that they come to work, they come into my office, and first off, they have to sit there and endure my little speech to them. And then they get their badge, because I am a firm believer that while they're out and they're doing their training, they have to have a badge on. They have to have a badge that represents the police department, that represents the community, and represents the town of Smyrna. They have to have a badge, because I think that badge gives them the authority to do their job. But these people have gone through extensive training. They've been in training for over 6 months, including a 12-week stay at the Law Enforcement Training Academy in Donaldson. And so today is a milestone in their career, because today they are official Smyrna police officers. And we're going to recognize each and every one of them, and we're going to put their collar brass on them today, so that when they go out, they won't be chastised and ridiculed by their fellow officers. No, I'm teasing, they're not. But anyway, first up is Mr. Malcolm Boyd. Officer Boyd went to high school at the Memphis Business Academy Charter School. He has a Bachelor of Science from MTSU in Criminal Justice Administration, and also in Information Systems. While Malcolm was in high school, he was on a robotics team where he placed 21 out of 60. Impressive. I mean, we may have him build us a couple of robots. Malcolm has worked for the TSA, so I'm sure he's been cussed out a few times by some travelers. He has worked at Kroger. He interned with the Tennessee Court Services and also with Key W Corporation. Malcolm's first concert that he ever went to, come on in, guys. Malcolm's first concert that he ever went to was Chris Brown. Hopefully he didn't watch him beat up Rihanna. So, ladies and gentlemen, Officer Malcolm Boyd. Next up, Officer Devonte Johnson. Officer Johnson went to high school at a very famous high school called Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas. How many here know the history behind that? That's the home of the Little Rock Nine. Desegregation happened at the high school that this young man went to, very historic, where President Eisenhower had to send troops down to escort children into a school. And so that's impressive to be able to go to a school like that. It's on the National Historic Sites. They were the Tigers of Little Rock, which I'm sure Devonte is very proud of that. Devonte has a Bachelor of Science from Tennessee State University in Criminal Justice Administration. He worked at the Tennessee Department of Correction as a probation and parole officer. He was a dispatcher for a short time with Metro Emergency Communications. He also worked at the Juvenile Detention Center, and most importantly, he worked at Banana Republic. His first concert was LL Cool J. Now, I like that. I like LL Cool J. Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Devonte Johnson. Next up, Officer Rebecca Ronan. Officer Ronan went to high school in Spring Hill. Now, did you go in the Williamson County side or the Murray County side?
Murray County side.
Exactly, okay. For those of you that don't know, Spring Hill is one of the few cities in the state of Tennessee that it's in dueling counties. So when you talk to their police department, they talk about how they have to transport prisoners to the Williamson County Jail and they have to transport prisoners to the Murray County Jail. She received a Bachelor of Science degree from MTSU in Criminal Justice Administration. She worked at the MGL Library, which I love because I got my start in law enforcement as a library guard at MTSU. I was known as the book sheriff. So this is tremendous. She also worked for the Department of Children's Services, and she worked in Child Protective Services. And I'm sure she has some horror stories about that. She did work with Arthur L. Davis Publishing, and even more importantly, she was a U.S. Army veteran. Her first concert, and I actually sat through like 2 minutes of a YouTube video of Senses Fail. I had never heard of them. They don't play them on Willie's Roadhouse. So, ladies and gentlemen, Officer Rebecca Ronan. Next up, Officer Aaron Underwood. Officer Underwood went to high school at Metcalfe County High School in Kentucky. She has an associate's from South Central Kentucky Community and Technical College. In fact, she has several associate's degrees, one of them in electrical technology. Probably most importantly with Aaron is also a U.S. Army veteran and was in the National Guard. She was an apprentice electrician, and she had what I hope to be my retirement job one day. She worked at Home Depot in the Garden Center. So her first concert, Sarah Evans. I like me some Sarah Evans. It's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, Officer Aaron Underwood. Next up, Officer Luke Weisher. And I'm sure I butchered that last name again, but I'll just scream Luke every time I see him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Luke was homeschooled. Probably one of the very first officers we've ever had here to be homeschooled. He has attended Motlow, he has attended MTSU, and he has also attended our hated rival, Tennessee Tech. He worked as a security guard, and he also worked at Nissan as a technician for over 2 years. Again, another example of individuals with no music taste. His first concert was John Bellion, and again, they don't play him on Willie's Roadhouse. So, ladies and gentlemen, Officer Luke Weishauer. Luke, come back. Come on. You took off too quick. You got to get your picture made.
Smile.
Ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, thank you all very much for coming here today. You know, first off, it means a lot to me that you all came, but it really means a lot to these people right here. This is the beginning of what I hope to be a 40-year career as a law enforcement officer, and one that one day one of them will be standing here in this spot, because I can tell you I ain't going to be here for another 40 years. But anyway, but one day they will be in here, and hopefully they will be a chief of police one day. I'm very proud of these 5. They're good people, and they're going to be good officers. That concludes our pinning ceremony. Thank you all for coming. Oh, and we've got some cookies, some water, some things over here. Please feel free to spend some time here, get your picture made with your loved one, and hang out. Feel free to do it. All right? Thank you all.